Shalom, shalom to the 144,000, the elect. Before I get started, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rokar Kodash. Double honor to the apostle Nails, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to the brothers that are preaching the truth in the four winds of the earth. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua have mercy upon you. Alright, y'all, I'm on CBS 19, I guess it's Alaska. Because this is where Putin and President Trump met in Alaska. And it said, watch live President Trump, Russia, President Putin hold joint news conference in Alaska 2 hours ago, right? So, this is one of these videos, and I think a perfect scripture to lead off with would be 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 3. Might start on verse 2, which goes into what? Peace and safety. See in the background, pursuing peace. Let's see what's about to take place here. Let's hit Putin.
There is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the U.S. pilots. And there are two flags, the U.S. flag.
He said Russian and U.S. pilots. It's a memorial over there in Russia. World War II. Huh? That's the second war. Third war coming what? Quickly.
And the Russian flag. And I know that here as well there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other, facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the U.S. for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's...
Sound like Putin got war in his mind. Putin got war in his mind, y'all.
Not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue, naturally under the condition of serious and painstaking work. And this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have been...
I guess most of you all think this is, it's boring right here, right? This is why Trump was able to rock y'all to sleep, and this is why in the days to come, you're gonna be most of you all are gonna be rocked to sleep because you're not paying attention to what's going on. Most of you all are worried about the next party, the next gathering, right? The next woman you're gonna lay down with, the next man you're gonna lay down with, or the next man you're gonna trick out of his package, or the next, or whatever, right? This is why most of you Israelites, which is you 2/3, you're not going to see it.
Very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump.
Now, he said he's been talking to President Trump on the phone quite regularly, right? But guess what? Had that stopped the war? No. Right now, as they're speaking right now, Trump and you got President Trump and you got Vladimir Putin here holding a conference in Alaska. They having a war right now.
Personally, to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict, and his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand his history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us, a terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of...
Let me go up a little bit here. I think Trump will come in the next couple more minutes, but let Putin, let him speak a little more.
It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the president...
See that both sides, I'll hit it right on the nail, that both sides come to some form of agreement, but guess what? It's not, man. This is prophecy. Prophecy is not going to be stopped. The prophets are speaking and warning you all, I've been telling you all that this day was going to come, and it's here. Even before then, all these proxy wars that you see that's going on in the so-called Middle East right now, these was already prophesied to take place. War in the Middle East. That's the final judgment of the nation, of them nations. But that lake of fire is going to be in America. America is that lake of fire.
The U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about the prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague.
2022, talking about Biden them, right?
The situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities, and I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war, and I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, business-like and trustworthy contact.
Business. What's the first order of business? New World Order. Huh? We're gonna get to the war, but we gotta get this MOTB. Business first now. Business. Right?
And I have every reason to believe that
New World Order MOTB. For those of you all know.
Moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound, and I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up.
No deal until there's a deal. What does that mean, y'all? Why you got that damn sign in the back to my pursuing peace?
NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll of course call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up.
Now the next 2 days, Putin could be talking about Trump. I mean, talking about Putin. He's a stupid man. He's dumb. He's hard-headed. He this, he that. He this, he that. You know, stay tuned, y'all, because we are not in the time of what of prophecy, taking a seat, a back seat. Prophecy is going to keep winding forth, because why? Because the prophets say so. And who do the prophets speak for? You speak for the Lord, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, y'all. Not Jesus, because Jesus is what is the white man's God, the same one that's coming down upon your head as we speak.
To them, they're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think, you know, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world that are very...
He talking about business. I thought he was going to talk about topping the war. The whole purpose of him coming over here is supposed to be concerning the war. Why they talking about business? Business. Y'all finna get that MOTV, man. I can't wait. I hope they start issuing it tomorrow. Business. How's this place the greatest country? And how's this place ain't the greatest nothing. All these people over here suffering and catching hell and whining on the internet. These people, and a lot of these Edomites, they done left. A lot of Edomites done got the hell out of here, man. Y'all ain't paying attention, man. You Israelites, you 2/3, y'all gonna be what? Y'all gonna be the last one to waiting on the Democrats to get back in the office. When Trump appears to be the last president that's gonna for them last. Y'all looking for the next 4 years of Democrat, man. Dumb. Madness. While everything around you is crumbling.
Very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax that made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood.
It ain't no hoax, man. It's not a hoax. Russia and America will eventually take that next level or next step, that Russia will destroy America along with NATO. It will happen. DJ Trump is definitely that cruel Lord, man. That's good to speak about. What that is, Revelation. I mean, not Revelation, but Isaiah 19. And the Egyptian all will give over into the hands of a cruel Lord. Who? You think Trump ain't cruel? Look at what he's doing to the people, man. Huh? And you Northern Kingdom catching hell. Now guess what? Now he's at you Southern Kingdom, starting with Judah. Let's see what you tough niggas gonna do when they come in your neighborhood next.
Understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all. But we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax. But what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there.
We didn't get there. We have a very good chance of getting there. Meaning what? Stopping that war. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, because a lot of American allies, NATO, they don't give. They're not with Trump. They're not with Trump, man.
There, I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, who I know in many cases, other than that, who's whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President,
Putin don't give a damn. Putin winning the war. Don't let Trump go smoke up your ass, man. Putin winning that war, man. Right? They losing. And they are not, the Ukrainians are not the only one fighting that war, man.
I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know.
Ah, you heard what he say? Oh, that's an interesting one. Trump ain't going nowhere. These devils they one thing about them, they always thinking somebody gonna stab them in the back. When every time you turn around, they the one stabbing people in the back. You know, Putin have way more integrity than well, they both Edomite, but they have more integrity than these damn Americans and slash so-called Israel over there in the land of Jerusalem. Those are the real backstabbing devils right there.
I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir, and thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, y'all. Let's see what the people have to say, right? After the fact. Let's see the little the little news. Let's see what they got to say. I'm gonna go down a little bit. 1 second. I'm gonna go. Let me go here. Hold on. Let me put that back on. Let me go here. Let me find out the news.
He is serious about achieving peace in Ukraine. Margaret, as you said, if this is all that happens, if this statement is it, there aren't going to be further meetings, there aren't going to be further briefings, etc. It was a whole lot of to do about nothing.
But we had heard from the president he'd know in the first 2 minutes, John, whether a deal was possible. They talked for 2.5 hours or more. And yes. I don't know the answer to this.
Right. We certainly didn't get the answer to that from what we just saw. You can imagine a range of possibilities. One is, as the president said, no, there isn't a deal until there's a deal, which is to say, nothing is decided until everything's decided, to use another political phrase.
I mean, he can't bully Putin. He can't bully Putin. He can't bully Putin. There's no deal until there's a deal. So the war is going to continue. The prophecy is going to still do what? It's gonna move on. It's gonna keep moving forward, should I say? They're gonna keep moving forward. It's not gonna stop, y'all. And just when you all think that it's over, it's peace and safety, and then that's when you listen, man. They're gonna continue to slow grind you Negroes over here, and now they're starting on you, you so-called black people. Now they starting on your asses now. It's starting on you, so you can get ready. You're 2/3. You can get ready.
So it could be thorny issues to go, but they made progress. One thing that hasn't yet happened is Vladimir Putin got the extremely warm welcome, and he got the very cordial treatment by the president, as Margaret outlined, in this experience that took place in front of the press. We don't dare call it a press conference. What didn't yet happen, I don't think, is President Trump did not repeat some of the talking points that Vladimir Putin has offered about who started the war, that kind of thing. And that was, in terms of the fears, Ambassador Sullivan, that the Europeans would have had. First of all, what's your interpretation of how they read this? But also, they were worried that he would come out with an agreement, President Trump would agree to something that really put Ukraine in a bad position. That has not yet happened.
Sure, so the downside, the major downside has been avoided. But if we take President Trump at his word that he would know in the first few minutes whether President Putin was serious about peace. The fact that they met for 2.5, maybe 3 hours, and now have this press conference, is that an indication that President Trump believes that Vladimir Putin is seriously interested in peace in Ukraine? I've seen no evidence to support that proposition.
Just like having a court, just like having someone going to court, right? The worst thing for a defendant is when the jury goes in and they be in the back for a long time. That don't look. That's not a good thing. 2 hours. 2 hours wasn't there. Now if they go and then they come right back, that's a possibility that, well, you know, it's a great possibility that it may go in the defendant's on his behalf, right? For those of you all that know a little something. But that's the deal. So they've been talking for too long, and then in the process they talk for 2 hours. They say 2 hours now. Could have been longer. Could have been a little less. They say 2 hours. So they out now. They got a conference and they still ain't heard nothing.
It may be the president's intuition, but there's no evidence to support that. In fact, all the evidence is to the contrary.
And we want to bring back into the conversation CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. Sam, President Trump has been speaking quite a lot about what he wanted out of this meeting today. He said there would be big consequences if Vladimir Putin didn't do what he wanted. And we know that was ceasefire. So we heard nothing about consequences for failing to achieve either. It's hard to know if this was a way of avoiding saying, I can't get a deal here, or is something else. Is there a strategy that you can discern from this?
I can't quite discern a strategy. Ending a war certainly does take time, which is something that President Trump did not seem to recognize on the campaign trail over the last few months when he said he could end this war quickly. And I agree wholeheartedly with Ambassador Sullivan that this was a nothing burger when it comes to a ceasefire arrangement for Ukraine, but it wasn't a nothing burger when it comes to Vladimir Putin's objectives more broadly. Vladimir Putin got the red carpet welcome in Alaska, and as you just articulated, Margaret, no new sanctions have been announced on Russia. We heard nothing about additional secondary tariffs, for example, on China, the largest customer of Russian oil. And so Vladimir Putin has successfully continued the stalling game that he's been playing for months, in which President Trump threatens to punish Putin even more strongly than the current architecture, and then Putin moves the goalposts yet again. So that's a big takeaway for me from this summit. Vladimir Putin walks away having met some of his objectives while the fighting continues on in Ukraine and this war of attrition.
That's right. The fighting continues in Ukraine while they standing there talking and talking about some pursuing peace.
Which Putin is very willing to continue fighting, is ongoing. We heard nothing about any kind of stall in fighting whatsoever. So I do think Vladimir Putin is walking away from this summit feeling like he scored some major wins.
Well, one of the things Vladimir Putin said in his remarks that were translated was, I hope the Europeans won't torpedo our nascent progress. And he talked about Russia as if it were the victim here, as if it didn't launch that full-scale invasion in 2022, and as it...
There they go, y'all. There they go. I know it won't be long. I know it won't be long. CBS, I know it won't be long. I know they're going to push it in their lap like everything is because of him. You know, pursue peace means accurately striving to what to create and maintain peaceful situation, both internally and what externally. It involves making conscious choices to avoid conflict. I don't see that. Seek resolution and what foster understanding. It's not just about the absence of war or conflict, but also about actively working towards a state of harmony and well-being. That's not America. These Americans don't have they just don't. They don't deal. They don't deal. With what's the word I'm looking for? They don't deal righteously. They don't know what that is, you know. And Putin is very aware of that, and Putin is not going to be like those Arabs over there in the so-called Middle East, where they say turn around and say, okay, well we're gonna stop the war, and then Ukraine turn around when Russia put their guard down, then turn around and bomb them. You know how many times we've seen that with over there in the and we just seen with Iran and Israel. No small hat. We just seen it. This is what they do. They get you to let your guard down. Then that's when they attack you. Wicked, man.
If it didn't start the invasion back in 2014, as to your point there, Sam, as you're talking about shaping narrative and.
Okay, yeah, I'm gone. I'm doing with it. Let's get to the precepts. So pursuing peace, y'all. That's the overall objective that they say that they're doing, right? But all they doing is rocking y'all to sleep. So let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall what say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Why? Because you know when a woman is having pains, and what it says, then when as travail upon a woman, meaning those pains with child, and they shall not escape until what? Until the child is what? Has came forth into the light, should I say, right? But most of you all are gonna be rocked to sleep, and you're not gonna see your destruction come. Why? Because that what Esau Edom is, that great deceiver, man. That great deceiver. Look how many he rocked y'all. Look how many people got rocked to sleep. I'm talking about Israelite and heathens. All y'all got rocked to sleep doing back in C-19. Got rocked to sleep. People are still dropping left and right. You thought they were playing when they said they were trying to get the population down to 500,000? They wasn't playing. They were not playing. I mean, 500 or 1,000 or 500 million. Well, they want 500 million. Out of what? Well, how many people on the planet? 8 billion? 8? I don't know how many people on the planet. Let's see. Let's see what Google says, y'all. I think it's about 8 though. Let's see something. How many people on the planet? Let's see. Oh yeah, 8.1. I was in 2024. The census in 2024 was 8.142 billion. That was in 2024. So I was on point, right? I remember that. I know I remember that, right? So let's go to let's go to Matthew right quick, and I'm gonna come back over here to 1 Thessalonians. Matthew's, because I want to make a point where I say that he's gonna rock y'all to sleep, rock all of you we get 2/3 to sleep, and in the process of the 2/3, some of you listen, man. Esau Edom. They most of these white people, they know what's coming. They know what's about to take place. Because why? Because y'all not seeing the overall effects. Esau Edom, the so-called white people, they have lost farms, man. And you know these devils don't sell on farms. They're not gonna sell on farm, no land, man. That's just not something Esau Edom, the so-called white man, do. They have lost their farms. Probably got that money and gone over in another country. Yeah, but it ain't gonna last. Because the dollar ain't gonna be no good in a minute anyway. Matthew 24 and verse 37. Right? These are the days of Noah, right? These are the days of Noah. It say Noah, which is Noah. But as, verse 37, Matthew 24:37, but as the days of Noah, meaning Noah, was so what? Shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Meaning what? Back in those days, what was Noah and his family, the 8 people, that in that day, in those days, should I say, was a gathering of what? Of the elect. So we're back in even closer to the kingdom of heaven, and what the Heavenly Father doing? He's gathering his elect, which is starting with what? 144,000 of men, then women and children. Verse 38, for as in the days that were what? Before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Again, can't say it enough. During that time, that was the elect of that time. Drowned the whole world except for 8 people, y'all. So we're back. We're back in those times. And those times of what? Of being what? Being who's and seeing who's gonna be saved. Who's gonna be saved? Verse 39. And knew not until the flood came. What's going to happen during this time? This time is going to be by fire, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. There's no escaping there's no escaping it. That fire. Let's go back over here. I'm gonna come back over here for a minute, but let's go back over here real quick and hit put this up here now. Hold this. Which is 1 Thessalonians. Where I stopped at. Let me just go back on verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, and which is what they're doing, rocking you to sleep, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child. Let this play real quick. Well, let me cut it off though. I mean, cut the thing off. Just let it play. Right? As coming with child, and they shall not escape. So you're not going to escape the destruction that's about to come to America. No one is going to escape out of America, but the 1/3 of the children of Israel, the elect. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should what? Overtake you as a thief. Why? Because for the most part, the brothers that are aware, which is the prophets, start with the prophets, the ones that are preaching and giving the true understanding concerning, not all Israel, not all Israelites, should I say, because a lot of them are not teaching, well, most of them are not teaching and telling you and giving you the last warning of the last warning, which means what? The MOTB. They are not warning. All they doing is trying to gather. It appears that they're only trying to gather black people together. That's not going to save you in these times, man. What's going to save you? The only way you're going to be saved is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai going to have to save you, which is that great escape that no one is aware of, which is what? Which is being taken up. That's the only escape out of what's about to come. That's it. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. It's not going to happen to the elect, because they are very aware. They are very aware of the outcome, of what's about of the outcome. Right? Let's flip back over here, right quick, to Matthew 24 and verse 39 again. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man, who y'all ignorantly call Jesus, man. That's the end of the end. That's over with. It's over with from that point. Let's drop down to verse 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doeth cometh. Verse 44. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man what cometh. So are most of us going to be aware of what the magnitude of what's about to come? No. You are going to stay in them stumbling blocks, man. You know, a lot of y'all gonna still be running up in them churches. Oh yeah, I just there's a church over here, where one particular church that holds 8,000 members, and hey man, they've been leaving, man. 8,000 members had a church. Now they selling the church, a church that was holding right up to about 10,000 people, right? But they had 8,000 members, and now they say that now that they closing the church, that the church only got 600 members. I think it's less than that. That's a big church, y'all. They closing. They selling the church. Selling the church. Where I want to go? Real quick, let's go to Luke. No, I don't want Luke. I don't want Luke yet. I'm gonna say that right. Let's go to James right quick. Let's go to James. Let's see what I'm hit here in James. James. I'm gonna go to James 4 and verse. This is a little quick hitter right here. 4 and verse 4 and 14. Right? Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your what? Your life. That's a question. What is your life? Do most of you all thinking that what? You saved. Highly favored. Which is madness, man. No one, even myself, even myself in preaching and giving preaching and giving a warning, I myself don't know who I'm going to be saved. But we would. We say that we would hope that we would part of being the hopeful elect. Because I dare no man say that they are part of the election. But you people walk around here in that proudness all the time talking about you saved. You're not saved. Whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanishes away. That's how quick and fast your life could be taken. And that's how quick and fast your life will be taken in these times, man. Whether the Jacob trouble gets you, if Jacob trouble don't get you, that fire will. So you're not going to make it, man, unless you leave America. But you still going to take, most of y'all still going to take the MOTB. And that gonna what is the scripture? What that is? 16. Revelation 16. I think it's 16. 16 and 1. The grievous sores, from what? From putting it in your under your skin. It is even a vapor that will appear for a little time and then vanish away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will. That's why we say all the time, Lord willing, man. You know. That I'll be able to get up tomorrow. Lord willing, man, I'll be able to pay my bill next month. Lord willing, man. Lord willing, Lord willing. If you're not putting the Lord first in your everyday walk, then you are lost. And you're not gonna come back. You're not gonna come back because why? Because most of you are still running around here calling on Jesus, man. So you're gonna remain lost calling on what? Your oppressor's God. For that ye ought to say, if what the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boasting. I'm saved, highly favored, all of those wickedness and crap. But now ye rejoice in what your boasting. All such rejoicing is what? It's evil. Evil. Talking about you saved. Talking about your mama is this, your dad is this, and everybody think their own screw. Y'all get a drink of water here. Most of us always thinking that our people is the most important people on the planet, man. Madness, man. Madness, man. You're not gonna know your mother and father in the kingdom. You're gonna have a whole nother set of what? Because, excuse me, y'all coming to the kingdom. We all going to the kingdom. Even Esau, Edom, his wicked ass, he coming to the kingdom. But they're gonna be under our feet. They're gonna be slaves. They're gonna be in captivity. Esau, Edom, Donald Trump going in captivity. They're all gonna be in captivity, man. Don't want them those small hatters over there that got those and stay in them other countries outside of America and them big old mansions, because they got mansions for real. That shit y'all call mansions over here ain't nothing. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good, and doeth it not, to him it is what? Sin. So most of y'all lost like hell, and you don't know where you're coming up, going. I just thought about Proverb 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, which is what most of y'all do. For thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. You don't know what's going to happen. But you still going to walk around here in your proudness. You know you're going to walk around here in your proudness and continue. Let Trump give you $600 and then turn around and give you $1,700 or something. Y'all think y'all on cloud nine. Most dumb of y'all ignorant, man. You know, Trump can give all y'all $1 million. You be broke for the end of the year. Be broke. Give you every one of you so-called black people $1 million right now. The economy will be flourishing and everything, but everything be gone though. Cause y'all be bought every car. Y'all be bought every car, every house, everything. Well, I take that back. You ain't gonna buy no houses. You gonna buy cars and get apartments. You be broke before the end of the year comes. That's how ignorant our people are, man. Money goes through your hand like water, man. They call it liquid money. They call it liquid money. Acts 1:7. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the season which the Father has put in what? In his own power. But how are you going to be warned? The prophet, man. The prophet is the one that warns the people and give you warning. Give you Israelite, you 2/3 first. Your warning, and then in the process of warning the people, what's going to happen? The other nations get warned as well, because why? They got to get rebuked. Remember, what's his name? Jonah. Huh? Remember when Jonah was running and didn't want to warn the people? And what the Lord did with him? Caught him up in a whale's belly for what? For 3 days. Hey, it is what it is. So we got to do what we got to do to keep warning the people that destruction is coming, that your destruction is coming. Because if we don't warn you all, what's going to happen? What's that? Ezekiel 3. I think it's Ezekiel. Yeah, it's 3. Concerning you know what? I won't gonna read that, but I'm gonna read that. Ezekiel 3 and verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto what? The house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall what? Shall die in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thy hand. So you got to be warned. And you're going to be warned. You're going to continue to be warned until what? Until that day. Which is that hour that most of you are not aware of and can't see that it's coming. What I want? Hebrews. Hold up. I'm going to put some oil on this chair, huh? Hebrews 3 and 14. For we are made partakers of what? Of Yahushua, of Mashiach, right? Of Mashiach, which is Yahushua, who we call Jesus. For we are made partakers of the Mashiach, if we hold the beginning of our what? Confidence steadfast unto what? Until the end. To the end, do what? Do what we doing? Prophesying, warning the people, shaking their hand at the people. What's that, Isaiah? Huh? We shaking their hand and warning the people and telling them what? That repent. True repentance is turning from what? Your way, you know, making that old man a new man, right? Which is, again, turning from your wickedness. Let's get, because I said peace and safety. And I'm going to show you what's about to take place, because You're gonna be rocked to sleep, and in the process you being rocked to sleep, Jacob trouble gonna ease up on you. Where Jacob trouble ain't easing up on you. It's already in Jacob trouble already taking place in your neighborhoods, right? Jacob trouble meaning what? You catching hell, huh? And this just the beginnings of those troubles. This is just the beginning. Joel 3 and verse 2. This is concerning this pursuing peace. There's not going to be any peace because the scriptures say what? I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And will, which is what? Which is World War III. Right? Hold up. And I just looked up. I ain't even see it. There you go. Which is World War III, y'all. Right? Read it again. Start over. I was trying to. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? Which is World War III. And will what? Plead, meaning judge. With what? With them there. For my people, for my heritage Israel, the Israelites, right? Whom they have what? Scattered among the nations and parted my land. So we're in what? All nations. This is why Apostle Paul, and who y'all ignorantly call Jesus, whose true name was Yahweh Shai, came to what? Preach to the Gentiles. Those Gentiles were what? Was Israelite foreigners. So the Heavenly Father is not with the devil. Let's go to 9. Joel 3 and 9. Sorry, 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Here we go. Which is what? Israelite foreigners. Huh? Well, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. But you slip in the tongue, but not in the heart. Proclaim ye among the Gentiles, those Gentiles of the other nations. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the what? The men of war draw near. Let them come up. So this is not going to be stopped. Prophecy will go forth, and it will take place just as the scriptures say that it will. Right? Beat your plowshare into what? Into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Is not these nations saying or doing just that? Look at all of the proxy wars. Look at all of the wars, the wars and rumors of war. It's not just wars and rumors of wars anymore. Look at all the storms and the catastrophe. They say what is one what it is a tornado, a hurricane in the Gulf as we speak. Assemble yourself. Esau Edom. Whether Esau Edom or the law itself, it's going to happen, y'all. So these things are going to take place by what? By the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, because they were spoke of first by his prophets. Even the prophets of old. Now the prophets of old is back. We're doing what? Prophesying the same word that what they once written with their hands. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathens and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause what? Thy mighty ones, the angels, because the angels are the ones that are what? That are doing all the ramping up of spirits, turning nations against nations, NATO against America. Trump is doing a fabulous job in office. Thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, Yahweh. Let the heathen be what? Wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. This is the root word of your what is it? Which is the valley of decision. Let me just say that. Right? For there will, I can't think right now. I'm trying to get this over with so I can this thing for run out of battery. Come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen there round about. Put ye in what? In the sickle, that is Revelation 14 and 14 through 20. For what? For the harvest is ripe. What harvest? His elect is what? Is sealed. come get you down for what? For the press is full, the facts overflow, for what their wickedness is great. So you hear it, right? This is, hold up, multitude 4, number 14, which is Joel 3 and 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. There it is. So the valley of decision is World War III. It's not going to stop, y'all. These things will not stop. It will not stop because this is prophecy. And prophecy, the prophets have already spoke concerning the valley of decision, which is what? The valley of, which is, what that is, Revelation 16. Hold on real quick. I'm going to close this out. It's blanking on me. Revelation 16 and verse 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which is the war of troops, man. So, for those of you all thinking and having that thought of the Democrats gonna come back in the next 4 years and things are gonna go back to the way it was, you all are being rocked to sleep, just like they have been rocking you to sleep for the past, since we've been over here. Since they've been allowing us to vote with the 60 years, with the 60s? The 60s. That's when it was showing up, kicking up. The 60s, with the 50s and the 60s. So on that note, we say, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rokah HaKodash, Shalom.